explain to us exactly what your problem with this particular matter is before we go ahead to look at your issue with lean government and lean expenditure, that which is the second part of our conversation. What exactly is the problem with these unreleased claims that you keep harping and talking about?
No, okay. So, I mean, let me begin by stating that when it comes to the economy and economic discussions, I'm a bit challenged.
Okay.
But from my understanding,
okay.
The amount you're talking about, the 49 billion, has been added as part of our debt and it hasn't been verified.
Okay.
I think in simple terms. And so you kind of increase our debt stock by this figure when indeed the matter or the amount as we claim hasn't been verified. That is why I say it's not verified. That is why we are saying that they brought it from an unaudited account.
Okay.
Because if the account is really audited, from the position of the minority, this 49 billion will not be there. And it's very simple. You know, in our small companies, we have audited accounts and unaudited accounts. The unaudited accounts, you can put figures there, but once the auditors come through, they will come with the lenses of the auditor and ensure that the correct figures are put there. Sometimes when the figures are audited, you see that it can come low or the figures can go up. And so it's just baffling for us that the finance minister will include this as part of the debt when indeed the finance minister himself agrees that this is an unaudited claim. And for us, that is a big problem. Now, the budget general, unless you want us to go, but the general...
Why is this unaudited figures which have been added to our debt stock? Why is that a problem for you?
No, but
why is that an issue?
No, it is an issue because
okay.
it will change our debt portfolio.
Okay.
If it's audited, because it can be audited and be removed.
Right.
Okay, as not properly accrued or as not properly recorded. So before you can take any accounts to anywhere, you need to ensure that it is audited. If it's not audited, then it means that it's not complete. All right. I mean, if it's audited, if it's from an audited source,
okay.
I'm not sure we're going to have issue with it.
Okay.
That's why we claim that it is not verified. You understand? And the finance minister is not denying that it's not verified. You have to make sure that the numbers you put in your national budget are numbers that are verified.
Okay.
And that is why, I mean, my brothers feel that the numbers are voodoo numbers and where did you plug them from? Because
okay.
we also have the books. We don't think that this is a figure that is actually verified,
okay.
and it can be added to that stock. Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Do you have something to say, or you want to look broadly speaking about the budget before he responds to the issue of the unreleased claims?
Yes, I mean let me.
Okay, that's fine. Yes. Please go ahead.
And I think that the people of Ghana have been presented with a budget that has a lot of issues. For me, the major issue from this budget is the fact that this government, which promised jobs and employment for our youth, is saying that, look, we are going to freeze employment. I mean, how do you freeze employment and claim that you're going to create jobs for the people? I mean, so where do you situate 24-hour economy in this? Because under their own 24-hour economy, we're going to create so many jobs to the extent that you have 3 people doing one job, okay? And so if that is the situation, it means that you're going to have an abundance of jobs. But here's the case, you are freezing employment. So are you going to start your 24-hour economy with the number of people in the service already who are doing just fine, or you are going to add more? Okay, now if you are freezing employment, you cannot obviously be telling me that you are going to create jobs. For me, that's the number one thing. One of the reasons for the NDC's major victory was the issue of employment. And so one would have expected that this government would do everything to create employment. Another thing which has to do with the employment is also the fact that the government has reduced subsidies from gas that were used to be the case for companies that receive gas from Ghana Gas. Okay, they will receive this gas at subsidized rate, be able to produce, employ a lot of people, and there are a lot of companies which were receiving these subsidies. But the government has taken away the subsidies. Now, the problem that is going to bring is that these companies, they are going to have to increase the cost of their goods because the cost of production is going to go up. Then they will pass it on to the consumers. Now, if the price goes up and the consumers are unable to buy, what's going to happen is that they are going to have a stock of products which are not moving. That will mean they have to sack some of their people. And so a policy the government is pushing is going to lead to unemployment in the private sector. Because right now, the companies that were getting these subsidies under the Akufo-Addo government, the Akufo-Addo government did that to promote investment into the industry. The companies were coming in so that they would get these subsidies. It was a form of attraction. Now, the companies that haven't started won't come at all. Those that are in, they are going to have to dismiss people. The goods and services are going to go up because the subsidies have been removed. Again, this is a budget that is also going to increase the prices of electricity because, again, the prices of gas for the power producers have been increased by this budget. The minister says that the gas prices are going to be increased. Now, if the power producers who use the gas, as fuel, are going to buy the gas at more expensive price, they are going to pass that on to consumers. And the consumers are you and I, the people of Ghana. We are going to bear the brunt of this budget by the increase in electricity prices. The budget also says, and for me, one of my biggest worry is their so-called big push, 10 billion big push plan. Look, this is a government that came in claiming that most of the infrastructure we have in this country have been either stalled or destroyed and that we're going to fix them. And then the president says, I'm going to invest $10 billion into this infrastructure. Now, your first year, what do? One would have expected that in your first year, in order to convince the people of Ghana that you are going to push infrastructure development, at least you bring half of what you've promised the people of Ghana. What did he do? He, out of the 10 billion requirement for this infrastructure push, he only gave the people of Ghana $800 million. It tells you that this is just too much talk, not enough commitment for the infrastructure development that the president spoke about. Now, if you even approximate the 800 million to 1 billion, what it means that in the 4 years this government is going to be in power, you are only going to commit $4 billion for your so-called infrastructure push. Now, this is a big policy of the government, and you are not committing money into this project. What are you telling the people of Ghana? It seems the president believes that he can tell us anything for us to believe. Now, this same government, which is not putting money into the infrastructure, is pushing 2.5 billion Ghana cedis into the office of the president. The office of the president has been allocated 2.5 billion Ghana cedis for the running of the office of government business. And so I'm asking myself, what kind of budget is this? The one which will benefit the people of Ghana, you are not putting money into it. The one which will benefit you and your appointees, yes, you are allocating a lot of money into it. So I have a problem. I have a problem with this budget. The president says, for instance, that he's reduced taxes. We mentioned bet tax. Even there was an issue. But let's say that you are reducing bet taxes and COVID-19 taxes. Now the question is, where do you bring this from? And they know that they need to fill that hole. What are they talking about? Sustainability fund. They are saying that they are going to increase their allocation from the sustainability fund from 1% to 3% to make up for the shortfall. Have they thought about the fact that these natural resources, because they're talking about gold, have they thought about the fact that the price of gold can go down? Have they thought about the fact that production can go down? If production goes down and the price of gold on the world market also goes down, where do we get the money to fill this pothole? So a lot of populism, a lot of, they want to kind of create some excitement. But I'm worried, in the end, the people of Ghana are going to suffer. In the end, the prices of electricity, are going to go up because of this policy. In the end, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs because of their policy of removal of subsidies on the gas prices. In the end, a lot of people who would have rather been in the public service are not going to go there because there's freeze unemployment. In the end, most of the infrastructure development going on in the country are going to stop. And I'm worried. I'm worried for my constituency. So my constituency, the NPP government started one of the major road construction to ease the traffic within the Kumasi and the road that leads to northern region all the way to Burkina, Mali. They all use the Swami road. That road is now, I am afraid, is going to get stuck because the president is not committed to infrastructure development as against his own claims. So, my brother, this budget doesn't really inspire confidence. This budget is just brought it to get some people excited, the young people who were staking these bets, get excited. But look, life is going to be harder along the road, and they should brace for it. I am worried that this president and his budget will not help us the way they told us.